What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 81 of 81 already of the Live Beyond Average podcast. Here with one of my best friends, Zach Ely. Second time on the show.
Yep, second time. Good to be back.
You're rocking the retro Run the Gun Season 2 hat.
Gotta check this out. If you need one of these, you should hit him up. I think I saw a few more in an old bag in the garage, so I've got a few extra of those.
My wife was cleaning today, and she comes out in the garage. Me and Zach just finished a workout. And she comes out there, she's like, do you want me to toss these? I'm like, what are they? She whips out these old hats that I had made up like
give me one of those.
4 years ago.
I'll rock that.
I'm like, no, those are retro. Do not pitch those.
Yeah.
Like, those are awesome. So we might do we'll have to do like a little giveaway or something.
There you go.
Do something with them because they're kind of cool. They're like the old school flex fit.
Next person to get top fan status on the Run the Gun Facebook page.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, next. I like that. Next person to get top fan status. So we don't have a ton of to talk about today, other than some training kind of modules. A little bit about Zach just did a CrossFit Fitness of the Falls, right? Was that last weekend?
Yeah, that was just last Saturday.
Okay.
It was a one-day competition that CrossFit Sioux Falls put on. It's their seventh time doing it. It's called Fist of the Falls. It's a male-female CrossFit competition. They do a RX, which is kind of top level, then scaled, which is a little more basic. Weights aren't quite so heavy. Some of the movements, you don't have to do all the gymnastic movements, that sort of stuff. So,
okay.
But it was male-female. There was really good competition there. We ended up taking second, my partner and I. It was really close, though. The top three teams, we were all tied going into the last event, so it was it was a cool atmosphere. It's as a former athlete and a competitor, it's fun to know it all comes down to one performance, and we almost made a big comeback at the end but came up just short. But it was a good we made a few mistakes earlier in the day that hurt us, but it was fun. Yeah.
So how many people were there?
Competing, I would say around 40. So it wasn't huge, but it was just an in-house competition.
Right.
I think there was probably 15 or 14, so 7 teams in the RX division, and then there was maybe a dozen, so another 24, 28 in the scaled. So and a lot of fans come. I mean, it was a pretty packed. The gym's not huge by any means, so when you put 150 people in there, it fills up and gets loud. So
okay, so you mentioned that you don't have to do some of the gymnastic movements like ring pull-ups or like things like that. But,
yeah.
So what would a person have to do? Like if I was looking at that right now and being like, hey, I want to do that next year, what are the big movements that I need to be working on to be able to perform well to go do that next year?
I would say just being able to move a barbell. So CrossFit incorporates a lot of barbell movements. They didn't have a snatch or squat snatch, catch and low, anything like that. But they had a workout where there was clean and jerk. I think the men had to do 185 pounds might have been the first weight.
Okay.
Females were probably around 135, or it could have been lighter. It could have been 155 for the men, 115 for the women, and then it dropped every set. So it wasn't like a ton of reps there. But being able to move a barbell efficiently and with good form, so you're not injuring yourself and something like that. That's the main thing. Most of the other stuff, I mean, front squats, anybody can do a burpee. Anybody can do skier, jump rope. They don't have to do double unders. It's just single, regular jump rope, sandbag over the shoulder. That's not really something that takes an extraordinary amount of practice.
Sure.
And then, rowing on a rower. Yeah, instead of doing RX, the last workout, we had to do bar muscle ups and then ring muscle ups. So basically, and then up above the bar or up on the rings. Scaled was just pull-ups. Regular pull-ups.
So if a person couldn't do that, you'd have to do strap pull-ups, which is obviously a disadvantage. It's harder than doing, I suppose, if you're efficient at doing a muscle up.
Yeah, and it was 2 different categories. So if you were in RX, you had to do the ring muscle ups.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so the scale division had to. They're two separate divisions.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
So you guys got second in that, and then you have. So what are you doing now? Here, right after the competition, and then you have another comp you're coming up.
Yeah, I kind of used it as almost kind of a tune-up. I've got an individual competition called Dakota Games. It'll be in Fargo, the 20th to the 22nd of September, and that's going to be that competition has grown over the last few years. There'll be, I'm guessing, 500 athletes or more at this. They've got everything from individual, pro individual, which I qualified in. They've got male, female divisions for everything there. They've got teams. They've got mixed teams, so 2 male, 2 female.
Nice.
They got 3 levels of 3-person teams, all male or all female.
Okay.
So they got a bunch of divisions. They have masters divisions. So once you get over the age of 35, you'll get into the masters category. So it'll be 35 to 39, 40 to 44, 45 to. So then that way a 37-year-old isn't competing against a bunch of 26, 27, 20-year-olds, like
prime.
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And not to say that there aren't masters athletes that would beat most of the open age group, you know, 18 to 35 athletes. So
sure,
it's a big competition. We did it last year on a team of 3. We got 4th place there last year.
Okay.
Qualified individual this year, or chose to do individual this year, I guess. And been training quite a bit. So this last competition was fun. It's fun to compete, but it was a good tune-up to do, you know, 4 pretty tough workouts where you're pushing all out in a day, just to see how I'd feel the next day.
Yeah.
Knowing I didn't have to compete the next day, I didn't necessarily do all the recovery things I would normally on a full weekend on a 3-day competition, but I felt great. Training's been going pretty well. It's fun. It's got to ramp the intensity up a little bit when you got a competition coming up. So it's a little more work, a little more time spent. But
so what are you doing right now? You're a month out from that, then, about, right?
Yeah,
a little more than that, I guess.
Yeah, adding an extra conditioning piece into workouts, adding some more. Always focused on strength, so adding extra conditioning in, higher intensity stuff. You know, a second high intensity portion of a workout, focusing more on some of those high skill stuff, handstand walks, ring bar muscle ups, some of the extra Olympic lifting. Just putting a little extra emphasis there. So
what's a normal workout day look like for you then? Give us an example of just like a day. I know obviously modalities change so much, but what's a day look like?
Most days get a good warm up in, do a short kind of interval piece as a warm up, not that being the main focus, but it's more or less get your heart rate up. So that way when you get to a really high intensity portion of the workout later on, you're not like all of a sudden your heart rate gets to 150 and you're like your body's freaking out like what's going on. So getting that first warm up piece in helps get you warmed up. Do some mobility work, usually strength or Olympic lifting first.
At the beginning?
Yep, generally at the beginning. And then most of the time I'll hop into one of the classes over at CrossFit Sioux Falls. And then sometimes I'll do extra strength stuff before that, or I'll do the strength stuff and then the Metcon that usually come in the class. So that's how most classes are scheduled. There's a quick strength piece and then a Metcon, metabolic conditioning piece.
Okay.
And then I'll do some extra conditioning afterward.
Sure.
So generally try to squeeze it into an hour and a half some days. If I had more time, I would spend more time there. I would like to do some 2-a-day stuff, but I just don't have the time right now.
Yeah.
But
it is what it is, and you do what you can do kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure. So last time, dude, I remember the last time we were here and we did a podcast. I have to look up what number that was because I don't remember, but we had talked about you were kind of coming off some back issues and fixing your back.
Yeah.
And tell us a little, how's that going?
Really good, actually. So last year, it was right around the time that they changed the date, so it would have been about the end of June, end of July last year that Dakota Games competition was, and afterward my back had been pretty messed up. I screenshotted pictures and put them side by side, and it's pretty crazy. It was some hip imbalance issues, and I was getting a pretty good kind of not looking at the side, but looking straight on from the back. Some pretty good movement through the spine, just starting in my hips, and even with just a barbell, super lightweight, body weight, didn't matter what it was, I was still moving wrong because I'd been doing it and compensating for so long. So finally, I would say probably in June, I took a video straight on from the back doing front squats, and everything was in alignment. And I mean, that was super encouraging that day, because even a month before that, I had done a video and I was still off a little bit. It was took a lot of time, a lot of focus. It definitely wasn't, an overnight fix. There wasn't, I'm out of alignment, got to go to the chiropractor. It was a lot of focused attention every workout of moving right, and It took a while, but a year goes by pretty quick when you look back at it. So
were you doing like a lot of unilateral stuff?
Yeah, a lot of one side. Yep, a lot of unilateral stuff.
Okay.
I did have Joel at Chiro Sport in Hartford. I went to him. I knew him from high school.
Okay.
We lifeguarded together back in the day.
Nice.
And he's a chiropractor over in Hartford now, and he did some assessment stuff. Kind of found out, he addressed some issues in my hips and my pelvis and my positioning, and kind of gave me some stuff to do. And that in the last 3 months has helped quite a bit. Nothing crazy, but just kind of getting the hips in the right position.
Sure.
Because I was actually starting to get some pinching in a disc, and so it was causing some nerve pain through my left hip. So even though the back pain from last year had gone away, the hip pain was kind of still there, limiting some mobility.
Okay.
So
interesting.
It's been a lot of focus stuff, some different. Always focusing on mobility stuff regardless, but there were some more specific things for the low back that I was working on, and just hip positioning.
Cool. Very cool. So you mentioned, you're giving this, an hour and a half. You wish you could give it some more time. But like, what would you suggest? And you know this because me and you were trainers together for years. You've been an athlete your whole life, and you know that there's people out there that really struggle with getting to the gym or eating right or whatever that is to improve their quality of life, improve their health.
Yeah.
What's your tip to them on getting, taking those steps to get healthier, to get to the gym or to eat better?
Yeah. So I'm not nearly to the extreme it could be in elite level CrossFitters.
Sure.
I mean, they'll spend 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day in the gym.
Right.
Like between their workouts and recovery. So an hour and a half to me isn't extensive, but I've been used to that my whole life. As an athlete, we spend time lifting. So to me, an hour and a half goes by quick. Anybody can find 30 minutes to get some sort of exercise in, whether it's on their living room floor, in their basement, outside in the backyard where their kids run around. You can find even 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Go for a half-mile jog if that's all the time you got for it. It starts little, and it's just consistently, even if you only have a little bit of time, consistently using a little bit of that time for exercise. And I don't think there's too many people that consistently find time for exercise that turn around and say, well, that was time wasted. You sit on your couch and watch 10 minutes of a show and goof around on your phone for 10 minutes, like that's 10 minutes wasted.
Yep.
You can find time for exercise. It's just it's kind of a will thing. You don't have to have a gym membership even. I mean, you can find stuff to do bodyweight wise in your house, things to elevate your heart rate. Just use body weight to move. And then, not to say that it can't be very helpful to have, a trainer. I mean,
yeah, always.
I think that was extremely helpful for some people to have a trainer, but I think it's just taking even if it doesn't have to be an hour and a half, it can be 20 minutes, 10 minutes.
20 minutes a day, 7 days a week. I mean, so if you're not doing anything,
that's over 2 hours exercise.
2 hours a week exercise right there.
Yep.
Look at the calorie burn and just the overall, like you said, moving your body.
Yep.
That the benefit you're going to receive from that, not just physically, but the mental difference you're going to have.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep, there's all sorts of research that shows that physical exercise, the cognitive ability increase with physical exercise. The science is there. And as far as eating goes, if you can just eat as much whole food that you prepare from scratch, that's going to make a huge difference. Even cutting out the processed stuff. It doesn't have to be every meal, but consistently making it, okay, every supper we're going to make sure, breakfast is maybe pretty easy. We do eggs, oatmeal, something like that. Breakfast seems like as long as you're willing to get up 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier to eat before you go to work. But consistently, okay, let's just pick supper. Let's always have a homemade meal for supper that is proteins, carbs, fats, whole foods, not processed stuff, not box mixes. Box mixes, just because there's rice in there doesn't mean it's whole food.
Right.
Food from scratch that you get at the grocery store that you prepare yourself. It doesn't have to be super detailed calorie, macro counting down to every single gram. If that's improvement for you right there, you're going to start to notice a difference.
You will notice a difference.
And those are the things that you feel better. If you're going from processed stuff, a lot of excess fats, a lot of
high
excess
sodium.
sugars, high sodium. Processed stuff has so much sodium in it, generally a lot of fat. Things like that, if you start cutting those out, you'll notice a difference. And you'll feel better. And then honestly, it's one of those things that when you get used to eating those whole foods, you'll eat something processed and you won't feel great afterward. I mean, your body can tell the difference. So it's maybe takes an extra 10, 15 minutes to prepare. But long-term wise, it's, I hear too, eating whole foods is expensive or eating healthy is expensive. Not necessarily. I mean,
dude, break down what it costs to buy potatoes and a box of rice and have your meat. Like, and have like steamer vegetables. Like I know like steamers like it's not as quite as good as like buying fresh.
Yeah.
But like do the cost on that and break it down per meal, like cost per serving.
Yeah.
It is not expensive.
You're not spending $7, $8, $9. No. I mean, you could go to any fast food place and spend $8 on a combo meal pretty quick, if not more.
Yep.
So,
I like that though, where you're just like focus on if getting started to you is one meal out of the day. Mm-hmm. If that's your focus, like hey, like you said, let's nail breakfast, or every supper is we're gonna do this. What a great way to start.
It's easy to get frustrated if it's an all or nothing. You know, if it's okay. Dang it! I ate one bad thing today. It's over. I'll go back to what I was doing.
Or you destroy the rest of the day because you had a donut and then you just go off the deep end the whole rest of the day.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, and if you're consistently eating whole foods, you can eat a donut and you don't gain 10 pounds from one donut.
No.
It's that donut every other day.
Yeah.
And 3 on Sunday, like that gets you. It's consistently what you do, good or bad, that's gonna cause progress one way or another.
It's just like what you said with the exercise getting started, 10 or 15 minutes a day, how it stacks up and adds when you weren't doing anything before. It's the same thing with the nutrition piece, right? Like if you're not watching what you're eating at all right now, or you're trying to improve, like by just making supper whole foods and looking at that every day, or just nailing your breakfast and that's your start, it's going to stack up if you do it every day.
Yeah, there's so much research too on long-term health effects of the quality of whole foods versus processed stuff, the amount of micronutrients you miss from processed foods, long-term wise, but even just day-to-day, how good you're going to feel. I mean, it's hard, if you haven't done it, it's hard to explain, but just the energy, what it does for your stress levels by getting out and exercising, even if it's not for very long.
Just like your stomach, you just feel better.
Yeah, everything.
You just feel lighter. You don't feel so. I feel just bogged down when I'm just eating whatever I want and not thinking about it. Like I just have that boggy feeling compared to when I can be at home cooking my own food.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a crazy difference.
Even if you're like with me traveling for work now, like let's say when I go out to Rapid City for a couple days, I'll go get a steak. I'll get a side of steamed broccoli.
Yep.
You know, might do a salad or something, and it's. Sure, I might eat chicken or steak at home with rice or broccoli or a potato and broccoli, you know, a sweet potato. It's not the same when you're eating out. It's still, even though you can get the same things, generally, and I think it's because of the sodium.
It's the sodium and the high. They're always cooking on the skillet with a lot of butter.
The fat and the fat and the sodium. It's still not the same. You definitely notice the difference.
Restaurants use tons of seasoning, and there's always a ton of oil and butter thrown on skillets and things like that to cook it up. Even like when you order your rice. Like when you order at a restaurant, you actually have to say plain. Like I want it cooked plain. Otherwise, you should see the amount of oil that's thrown on things so your rice doesn't burn on the hot plate.
86 the seasoning. 86 is like the restaurant term for leave it out.
Is it really? You just work at TGI Fridays?
Oh no, I served and bartended at Outback Steakhouse.
Outback, that's what it was. So, yeah. You know,
86 the seasoning, or 86 the whatever. 86 was don't put it on there. So
that's funny. Yeah, and see, like my wife, I've gotten all this stuff from my wife because she went to culinary school and like she just has that background. Yeah, and it's funny the things you don't think about. You're like you could eat out every day and be like, well, I ordered the grilled chicken with broccoli and rice every single day, but like, what is going on? Like, you're getting these massive amounts of fats that you're actually not accounting for. Yeah, that you don't know that's in there. Yep. So it's like. It's just variables that you can start to control. Now, I always suggest ordering that when you go out. Yeah. But you just have to remember
versus extra variables, versus like a blue cheeseburger and a basket of fries with it. Which again, if you're consistently making the healthy choices day to day life, really
go order that.
You can go out and have that, and the scale doesn't change at all. No. You know, okay, maybe for a couple hours because all the sodium retains some water, but. You don't need to look at the scale every single day, you know.
And it's not even showing everything, so.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a long-term thing, and it's just taking those baby steps right away if that's what it is.
Well, and it's just like getting in that mindset of having that long-term health mindset in the sense of, hey, I'm not just trying to do this for the month and see, you know, like, yes, you should maybe you need to challenge yourself for a month just to get started, but you still have to have that mindset of. Hey, I just need to adjust my lifestyle to be a healthier person. Yep. Like I want to live a healthy life. I want to have less issues with my health as I grow older. I want to feel better. I want a healthier body composition. I want to move well and feel well. Like that happens by just having a mindset of that's what you want to accomplish. I want to be the healthiest individual I can be.
Yeah, and I think that's where long-term success comes from too, is having a little bit bigger picture of that.
Right.
And not, all right, I need to cut down, I need the scale to say this number by this date for this event, because you're really doing it for that, and then once that's there, you're kind of back to what you were doing and you're really no better off. So I get, you're going on vacation, you want to look good, like, yeah, but I mean, our long-term health is really what matters.
I train a couple that they're in their 60s and they've been training with me for like 5 years now, and they have some grandkids, and like that's their goal, and they train like they don't have the weight goal, they don't have this muscle goal or anything. It's nope, we want to be healthy, active, and alive for our grandkids' wedding.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that is cool.
Kids change your life, and grandkids change your life.
Yeah. It's pretty neat when people come in with that right mindset. They're so much more fun and easier to train.
Generally, you have higher motivation. If it's a long-term thing, you're going to be. It's more intrinsic versus, okay, I have this goal, so an extrinsic goal, which is, all right, I've got this date, and I need to hit this weight by then. That's the only thing you're focused on. Where or there's these outside motivators for you versus an intrinsic where it's you wanting to make that change, and that. I mean, you get into the psychology of all that stuff, and it's interesting, but it definitely makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, and you talk about the psychology of all this. Like, I go right back into the whole, like, when I'm working with people on how to increase their healthy eating, like, I never talk bad about going and having a cheeseburger, because on the opposite side of things, we can food shame, and that, in my mind, I don't think that's a healthy mindset either. To always eat a cheeseburger and feel you shouldn't have to feel guilty.
Right.
For eating something. If you work your butt off all the time, you're consistent with your food, and you want to go out to eat and have a cheeseburger and a couple beers with your wife, like, do it, be done, and go back to your consistency. It doesn't mean you have to eat like crap for the next 3 weeks, but I just feel like there's got to be some balance with that too. And me and my wife have really worked hard over the years to find that balance of, like, because we do challenge ourselves to eat really well.
Yeah.
But when we want to go hit Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one get one free on Wednesday nights, or half price wings on Wednesday nights, like, if we want to go hit that, like, we're gonna go hit it, but we're gonna eat good all day.
Feel bad about it afterwards.
And I'm not gonna feel bad about it, and I'm back to my normal food the next day.
Yeah. Yep. We were on, my wife and I were on our way home from our missional community, which is like kind of a smaller group kind of thing. We call it a missional community at church, and it was on the east side of town. We live up on the northwest side, so it's about a 25-minute drive. So we'd laugh, and I'm like, where are we stopping to get ice cream? Got just a large blizzard and just split it on the way home.
Yes. But that's like...
Didn't feel bad about it. Went and crushed a workout today. But again...
I don't know if you crushed a workout today because you had me with you kind of dragging you along. But.
Oh, no, it was good. It was good. But breakfast snack, lunch snack, supper, bedtime snack, generally... 5, 6 meals a day are pretty consistent. Sure, one of them might get a little bit loose with my choices food-wise, but most of the time, and with my training too, if I don't eat semi-clean too, I feel it. It's hard.
Your performance changes.
You drag when you start having to get a high-intense workout where it's kicking your butt. You can feel it if you've been eating good or not. It definitely,
or not getting in those nutrients that you need, like that.
Oh yeah, you'll feel drained, or if you're getting in a bunch of extra junk, you feel it for sure. It'll feel good
for sure. So we talked a little bit about the fitness side of things. Let's just pivot over. You're a hunter. You grew up hunting too. What are the tags that you drew this year? What did you get? What are you doing?
I drew an any deer for Gregory. I know they changed the whole draw system this year here in South Dakota. I haven't really dug into the draw statistics to see.
That's a good tag.
So, but yeah, any deer. I had 2 preference points.
Nice.
I didn't draw a tag last year, which I kind of figured I wouldn't, but I knew I needed 2 preference points. So there's a few mule deer out there, not as many as there used to be. That I think that blue tongue kind of got them or whatever that was.
Yeah, you have the EHD.
EHD, that's what it was. Yeah. But there are a few, so I'm not going to shoot it'll have to be a really nice one to take a mule deer out there. But at least it's nice to have somebody in the group. My wife's side of the family that has one just in case.
Everybody else have whitetail tags?
I think everybody else pretty much drew an any whitetail. Yeah.
Nice.
My wife Jenna drew an any whitetail, so we'll see. She's due with our second kid November 13th, and the season I think opens. It runs late though. I feel like
it goes until December 2nd or something like that.
Yeah.
This year.
So, but 2 years ago when we had Gunner, my son, he was born October 25th, and I think she shot her whitetail opening weekend. So it was the 10th or the 11th of October. Yeah.
So it was, she had the early season.
Yeah.
Back when they still did. They still do the early season for that, I think.
Yeah, because Fittest of the Falls was in November that year, and she was out there. She shot him Saturday, and that was the 11th. So it would have been the 12th. Yeah.
Nice.
So she was only, 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks postpartum. So
she'd be good.
Just take the side-by-side right next to the stand, drop her off, and
That's awesome. Well, that's cool. Then you always do a bunch of duck hunting, too.
Yeah, we got early goose starting here in about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks.
Nice.
So I've been trying to get some projects done this summer and ahead on stuff so that when full waterfowl season rolls around, I don't have to do as much stuff. Plus the kids coming, so that's kind of a time crunch. But looking forward to it. I know I just saw some duck numbers.
I saw those too.
I saw some duck numbers. I'm trying to think what all. Some species were up, some were down.
Like mallards were up like 2%.
Yeah.
Pintails were down 5% or something like that.
Pintails were down quite a bit. Long-term average on pintails was down drastically, which is, I could see that. I shot a drake pintail almost every weekend. When I was like in high school, we shot a ton of them. And now it seems like we don't get as many. But mallards, I think, long-term wise are up. The long-term average, so overall they're up. Some stuff was up, down, but
hopefully we have a long fall, some open waters to keep them around a little bit longer this year.
We've had weird migrations. If you've hunted waterfowl in South Dakota the last 2 years, there's been some weird. Not to say it's been bad, in certain places, but it's been weird migration with just when the cold comes, and then it warming back up and stuff not really coming in from Canada. So it'll be. Hopefully, fall's my season. I love fall.
Me too.
Hopefully.
Well, you're a football guy too.
Between football and hunting, fall's kind of where it's at. So
for sure.
Yeah, we'll stay busy. We'll get out. Thing is, once hunting kicks off in September 7th, I mean, I don't know if I'll get out right away. Early goose, swatting mosquitoes is no fun when you hunt geese, but
that does suck.
But I mean, it's pretty go until now with the late unit or the unit 2 around or unit 1, whatever it is. The unit around Sioux Falls starts late, but then it goes through December 22nd, I think.
Right.
So,
right.
Or no, even later than that. So, yeah, you get to hunt Canada geese real late into February if you go out to Pierre and around Sioux Falls, and then snow geese are almost here by then. So.
Yeah, no, you have a long season if everything goes right. Like it could be a good long season. So
I'm
hoping to get a little waterfowl in this year. We normally don't, but I have like no tags for October.
Really?
So I'm hoping there's some around in October that I get something done.
Because you got your archery coming up here real quick.
Yeah, in like in a week.
Days.
In a week, yeah. So we have that in a week, but I'm hoping to do a little waterfowl at some point anyway. We got a buddy out in Rapid City that wants to do a little bit, and I got a buddy up in Devil's Lake, so October is really good up there.
Yeah. Who's out in Rapid?
Foster Bartholow. So.
Oh, really?
So I might go out and smoke some geese with him if they're flying. They're getting some flocks in over there. Maybe smoke some.
I know a pond between Rapid and Spearfish that they always sit on.
Yeah, let's go to.
It's like 20 yards off the interstate. There's always been Canada geese sitting on it out there.
That's funny, dude. Yeah, South Dakota's got a lot of good stuff.
We're lucky. It's a good spot to be. Yeah.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
Cool. You got anything else for us, man? What are you gonna leave us with? We're gonna leave us. Put you on the spot. You got nothing.
I got to try Seeker, Jordan's new energy drink.
Oh yeah.
Remember? That stuff's awesome. That stuff rocks. So I was lucky enough to get to try some. When it comes in, you got to get your hands on a tub of that stuff, guys. The flavor's amazing. It's so much better than just a canned energy drink that you're kind of just getting whatever's in there. I mean, this stuff works. The focus is great. Enough caffeine, enough of a stimulant where you get a little bit of that pick-me-up, but it's not like it's got 300 in there where after you drink one energy drink, you're like, I probably shouldn't have any more caffeine today. So
only 100 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah. I'm excited for you guys to try it. I can't wait to get my hands on some more of it. So
you were one of the first ones I let. I
came over for something and you had just got your samples in. I think
it was I'm
not leaving without trying some of this. So
yep, you tried the first set of sample batches. We've made a few tiny tweaks since you've tried it.
Yeah,
but it's dude. Yeah, it's good.
It's simple, effective, and it actually has got ingredients that are going to work in the right doses. So, yeah, you guys are going to love it. So, get your hands on some of that.
Dude. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, we're hoping pre-sales open next week.
Perfect.
Get everything done that we need to get done, and get some pre-sales open. We got a little pre-sale special going to go on for some people, so
Nice.
it's going to be fun. Well,
Nice.
thanks for tuning in today, you guys, for another episode of the Live Beyond Average podcast. If you loved it, we'd always appreciate any shares, reviews.
Give that thumbs up.
Give that thumbs up, exactly. Thanks a lot. Let's catch you next time.